Someone had written that all Christians should love beauty. We should enjoy beauty. Where beauty is hidden, we should unveil it. Where beauty is defaced, we should restore it. Where there is no beauty at all, we should create beauty. And this is what Jesus teaches us. When we see today's gospel reading, this is exactly what Jesus does in today's gospel. His subject was a crooked tax collector. With his help, Christ changes this object into a beauty. So beautiful, so effective, so transformed that it has to be kept in the hall frame in the world. And it will be there till Jesus Christ comes again. And that is how he creates beauty. Therefore we see that Jesus Christ, who does this, allows him to do it. Because Zacchaeus here climbs up a sycamore tree as a crook and climbs down the sycamore tree as a saint. And that is how you and I should also say, why can't this happen to me as well? For us, my dear friends, to consider that the teacher who works upon Zacchaeus today wants each and every one of us to experience this. Zacchaeus was desiring to see Jesus. You and I have already come here. You and I are here because we have a desire. We are halfway through. Like Zacchaeus, we are halfway through because we see that we are halfway home with a little more push. I'm sure you and I will hear what he wants us to do. And what is our response? That is what today you and I will experience, my dear friends. That is the reason why we see that it is for us to open the door for him. As we see some of the images of this beautiful Jesus knocking, and on the door there is no latch, only inside is the latch. And therefore, you have to open the door when he knocks, because in Revelation chapter 3 verse 30, he says very beautifully, "Here I am, I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with him and he with me." Therefore, we see this beautiful scene. Jesus underneath the sycamore tree. And he laughs at Zacchaeus. "Hey, Zacchaeus, come down." And as he is laughing at Zacchaeus, Zacchaeus comes down. And the laughing master, he says, "Well, you are a tiny guy. Come on, I like to have a dinner in your house." Shocked. Getting goosebumps all over. This master I'm seeking, and he wants to come into my house. He doesn't know. But you see how beautifully he suspects that he has been already transformed. Therefore, this Sunday, my dear friends, once more, Jesus presents to us a tax collector. If you remember last Sunday, we also heard about a tax collector. Yes? Hello, hi. We heard about a tax collector and a Pharisee. And the tax collector went home contented because he said, "Lord, have mercy on me." And therefore, this one is the shocked man, Zacchaeus, who is in today's gospel reading. Last week, we seen that man cried out, "Have mercy on me." Today, Jesus Christ comes and pulls him down from the sycamore tree. And therefore, this man, Zacchaeus, is not a parable, because last Sunday we heard a parable. But this Sunday is a real life story of Zacchaeus. And that is how the real man Zacchaeus, he is tax collector part 2 for us today. That we see Jesus Christ coming and transforming it. Many people grumbled at Jesus Christ and others. Why this man is going in and having a meal with him? But you see, tax collectors are very shrewd fellows. But you see Zacchaeus, content. He stands his ground and he says that he will give half of what he had to the poor, promising to pay fourfold those whom he has cheated. See how this transformation takes place in the life of Zacchaeus, who comes down from the tree. When the Lord entered Zacchaeus' house, Zacchaeus there, the things have already changed. And then you see Zacchaeus becoming a disciple of Jesus Christ. He climbed a tree to see the Messiah. He came down to become a disciple. You and I will also one day face that same challenge, my dear friend, because we know that Jesus, who sees Zacchaeus on the tree, like how St. Augustine says, that tree is because Jesus will climb the tree for our salvation. And you and I will have to climb the tree for our salvation, because Jesus very beautifully says when he goes home goes to the house of Zacchaeus, salvation has come to this house. If you welcome Jesus into your house, salvation will come into your house. Jesus sees Zacchaeus so quickly coming down to meet him. Why? Because he knows that I desire, therefore I am receiving. You and I should desire more and more. At any rate, we see the sycamore tree Zacchaeus, who looks down at the crowd. He's a tiny fellow, he's a short fellow, but still looks down on people because he's a very rich man. Going up the tree, he looks down at Jesus. But Jesus looks up and says, come down. See how humble he becomes immediately. He comes running down, and that is how he becomes a real disciple. Further, my dear friend, when we meet Jesus, when we accept him in our lives, he enters our life and our home. Finally, we see Zacchaeus giving us key steps to become a true disciple. The first step is curiosity. He wants to see who this man Jesus is. The second step is humility. How he comes down quickly from the tree and accepts Jesus Christ. He looks down at Jesus Christ, but now he becomes very small before Jesus Christ. The third step is openness, to allow Jesus to enter into his house. In other words, he's a very rich man. He's a crooked tax collector. And all the crookedness would be seen if Jesus comes into his house. All the wealth that he has amassed as a tax collector, the chief tax collector. But he is open to this, and therefore he allowed Jesus to enter into his house. The fourth beautiful aspect is service. He no longer serves money. He says, I will use this money to serve God. Today, take back home curiosity, humility, openness, and service. Amen. Let us all stand for the creed.